Hi, Maria, back with another video. It is December 1st already, and the time is 10:04 a.m. and I'm just sitting here kind of cleaning up my house a little bit. Mind you, I never get it very dirty. I'm very organized. I don't like clutter. I don't like going to bed with dishes in the sink and stuff like that. So, some people have like extremely clean homes. They I would say my home is clean, but could it be cleaner? I would say yes, it could be. There's a lot of dirt that gets in here. There's a lot of what do you call it? When the wind blows, a lot of dirt from the outside gets underneath the door. Sometimes when I have the AC on, what do you call it? The cooler, I guess. There's dirt or debris that comes out from the attic or whatever. So, but you do the best you can. I would love to have it cleaner. If I was one of those wealthy people, I would probably have someone help me scrub floors and stuff like that. But then again, if I was a wealthy person, I wouldn't be living in this apartment, right? I'm just saying is I understand how sometimes when you get a little bit older, even though I'm not like old, I can understand how some people, when they get older, they would like a little additional help around the house. And the reason why is because I don't have the same elbow grease I used to have. Like, people consider me to be strong. Like, I can lift a lot of, weight and stuff like that. But, I really can't scrub things as well as I'd like to. I just can't. So, and also certain little spaces and stuff I can't really get into. I do the best I can, okay? So anyway, I was thinking today about how I feel as though now is a time for me to distance myself from talking about being a TI, gang stalking, and human trafficking. And it's not that I don't think that these issues are important. I understand now what the system, how the system works. And even though it is a corrupt thing, and it is corrupt, okay? It is a very unjust world we live in. As I mentioned in so many of my other videos. But these injustices happen, and sadly they will continue to happen, because this is how many people rely on getting to the top, And so, and I fully understand that. And I'm sorry if people thought that I was a threat to them in any way. I have never meant to come off of that. I'm a very strong woman. I will stand up for myself if I feel like I'm dealing with some sort of illogical confrontation, which is what I did and the reason why I did this. I'm not the kind of person that likes to talk about my personal life, my private life, things that I'm thinking or whatever. I believe that certain things should be kept between people that I care about, And it's not to say that I don't care about my fellow man. It's just that, some people are not responsible enough, mature enough, or whatever to handle certain information. And I was talking about when I had a discussion with, I think a coworker one time about, why I don't, I'm just really not into sexual activity or whatever. I think that this got blown way out of proportion, probably by my family or whatever. In a world that is insincere, like, I don't even like being hugged by someone that I don't really like. I really don't. So the idea of, switching body fluids with people, it's just, whatever. I think it's because a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've dealt with insincere people all my life. But going back to the conversation of, how you can only have conversations with certain people, because not everybody is mature enough to understand that other people are different, have different issues, went through different things, experienced different things, have made them who they are. And then also you can't talk to people about other things because not everybody understands what should and should not be repeated. Because, just much like the example that people get, like, I don't know if you guys ever heard that example. They use this a lot in school, about, whisper something in a person's ear, and then they have to repeat it to the next person, and you go along in this circle, okay? And by the time this one message, this basic message, gets repeated over and over and over again, the message starts to become distorted, right? So this is what happens. And when you have a large amount of people that this message gets, whatever, then people start trying to put together piece by piece what in the world's going on. So I don't know how they got, Maria must be running around with somebody via that conversation. Maybe because, I don't know, maybe because the issue that happened in 2008, and then the fact that I was living with my husband, and then I wasn't very into being with him like that. I just wasn't. But that's a story for another day, okay? But still, it had nothing to do with that, okay? So people like to speculate. And I understand that when people start talking and they speculate and they gossip, things get out of control, okay? And when things get out of control, they feel like it's kind of funny because I think that all these issues and these bits of conversations that were getting thrown in and these assumptions that were being made got turned into something that literally flipped my world upside down, and all because of the work of other people. So, my issue is that I've dealt with this issue. I've understood who and what caused the issue, and I understand that I've been talking about this issue for over 4 years, specifically since September of 2015. We are now going into 2020, and I am still slowly but surely getting myself back in order mentally, meaning, I will tell you, gang stalking will scramble your brain, because that people are ganging up on you and they are mistreating you and bullying you based on issues that don't really exist, okay? Through this, I have experienced finding out that my ex-husband had a relationship with his mother, but then it seems as though my ex-family must have known this, you know what I mean, but continued to want. So it opened my eyes to a lot of different things, okay, that I felt were eye-opening and mentally disturbing. Okay, it's quite disturbing to realize that this is, certain people are like something that you're kind of like weirded out about, and then the fact that you lose trust for people because they're smiling in your face, and then they're operating against you, and all kinds of stuff, So I've learned a lot from this issue. I've learned that, it confirmed a lot. All the big things that my ex-family or other people may have kind of thought, well, I think you're kind of extreme in your beliefs about certain things. This has only reinforced my belief and my personal ideas and my beliefs, okay? And this is what I choose to live by, because I live off of what I've experienced, what other people experience, and facts that get played up in your face. And I think this is one of these issues that covers a lot. And it really, I think, in some ways, that this should be like a textbook type of lesson, even though I know most knowledge does fall on deaf ears because most people don't know how to apply the knowledge or appreciate it. But it's a very interesting topic for discussion because it covers so much. Everything regarding religion, race, gender, just the unfair treatment in the world, social issues, relating to honesty and integrity, which it opens your eyes to so much of these issues that people like to sweep under the rug, but they have to be confronted with these issues when you think about this whole situation. That one person could be completely annihilated off the face of the earth from the direction of one person. One person. That's all it takes. Somebody that they view as who has authority. In this case, who must have pretended to have authority was somebody that had no authority over me at all. So that it's a deep issue, okay? So I wanted to talk about, I know in the future people are going to judge me because, I would say I'm a pretty smart girl, okay? But they're going to say, well, I expect her to do well because, she's got so much potential. I will tell you that I do have potential, But I understand that when you are a victim of gang stalking, once you become a victim of gang stalking, your life is flipped upside down. If you were a lawyer at one point, you will not be a lawyer again. Okay? And if you do have anything to do with law, it's going to be something that is not quite what it was before. Okay, so this is an example. Because oftentimes gang stalking is about infiltration, something going on where people are going to try to divert your life goals or whatever illegally. Okay, usually for some form of sabotage or whatever. So that's the way it is. I was upset about this in the beginning because I knew that this was wrong. What I was experiencing was wrong. And I felt as though I would get justice. Now, the justice that really I should have received compensation from all of these companies that did what they did to me. Okay? So I would be sitting pretty. Okay? And I would probably be sitting pretty in a nice little simple home. Okay? Modest home with the proper help, cleaning help that I would need. I'd have a maid on Saturday. But that wasn't my issue, okay? I really kept thinking, okay, well, fine. I can't get this lawsuit because I knew that there were certain people that were involved in this that were aligned with my ex-family that maybe they didn't fully understand. They just probably thought, okay, this girl, this person's family, she had a child out of wedlock, okay? And she did some things that she shouldn't have done when she was a teenager in her early 20s or whatever. So these people are concerned about her. So maybe they got involved in this issue thinking that they were helping this wayward person, okay? But in reality, this wasn't the case. And I understand that a lot of people are going to still allow this sort of intrusion thinking that, oh, this is all family. For people, I'm just saying is, I understand that people are going to break the law, and they don't understand, that when you do these sort of things, that is going to create some sort of problem, complication. And this to me was an unjustified complication. Like, none of the things that I had to go through were justified. You know what I mean? It was literally somebody who wanted to to destroy the life of another person to gratify their own ego. And this is what happens a lot of times. So I didn't want to be in a competition. I never looked at myself as a competitor. I'm sorry if people find me intimidating. You know what I mean? But I do stand up for myself. If I'm in a situation, I have to stand up for myself. I have. You know what I mean? I don't have, people who thoroughly support me. Not really. These people who claim to support me, they support me only to a certain degree, to say that they are, but by shortchanging me, they are satisfying their own selfish needs. You know what I mean? So I accept it. I accept the fact that, what I had thought of in my future, as far as what I'm going to do for a living, that was a very clear thing for me. I just figured this is what I was doing. Now, at this particular time in my life, through no fault of my own, and I won't take a responsibility for it because I didn't do anything, my life has changed. It has completely changed into a direction that I would have never approved of, all because of the selfishness of fanatical people, right? So when people look at me in the future, they're going to say, well, she should, and I know what people are going to judge me on. They're going to judge me on the fact that I'm not doing what I really should be doing. But do keep in mind that it is impossible for me to be doing what I should be doing. Okay? So I don't want to exert the effort. I understand, because I told you, I took all my stuff to the shredders, okay? I realize I still have a few things left. I stumbled upon one recently, and I thought, you know what, I still have documents, printed out documents, resume drafts, cover letter, whatever. I still have some of that laying around. I'm I did a lot of work looking for work to move on with my life. And there was a system in place that was preventing me from doing so. For reasons, and the thing is, my sister was trying to keep me married to someone that I'm now divorced from, okay? But the thing is, and then trying to put me under the rule of a woman who was the mother of my ex-husband, but secretly engaged in a relationship with him. So why would this woman do me any favors, okay? But she put to everyone around, people believe that I took her husband from her, or her lover, or whatever. That's bizarre. Okay, well, whatever the case is, women should never be subjected to the this sort of treatment, you know. And this happens to a lot of women. Okay. Anyway, that to me, that whole situation's weird in the first place. Okay, and but I'm dealing with it. So 2020 is coming here. It's going to be here before you know it. Like, I woke up this morning and I looked at my calendar on my computer, and I saw that it was December 1st, and I kept thinking, I thought I had one more day of November left. Nope. So I know this year is going by. It's almost done. So 2020, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, you know, what is my goal? My goal is very simple. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing for a living from this point on. I know that I have to have some skills, and all I can do is whatever. My goal is to get out of the stagnation period. Meaning that, you know, the everyday routine that I've been doing is not for me. Okay. And I do need more hours to work. I can't work part-time because it's not for me. Like, it's too much time on my hands. Okay. Too much time on my hands. Okay. Entirely too much time on my hands. And it's extremely, extremely boring for me. So that's my only thing. I want to forget what happened to me. I want to forget what happened, and I don't want to have to see the visual effects of it anymore. Like, you know, I want to move away from everything that these people have created for me. It's better for my mental well-being. Okay, so that's really the only thing that I have on my 2020 list. I was looking outside today briefly, you know, and it looks like the sun's coming up. I know it rained recently, and you know, sometimes I enjoy the rainy season. There's times where it rains too much. Like, I know this weather's kind of weird out here, but I remember, like, last year sometime, I don't forgot what month it was, but it seemed like it was raining almost every day. And I appreciate rain sometimes, but when it rains that much, it's just like, oh my God, it's just too much. But anyway, you know, I kept thinking, I wish I had another umbrella. Like, I like my umbrella, but I wish I had something different, you know. But I have to accept that this is what I have for now, okay? But, I don't know. I guess I like rainy day type gear. I guess I always have, like, you know, I like scarves and umbrellas and gloves and, you know, mittens and stuff like that. I guess it's kind of a thing that I prefer to collect if I had the ability to. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to do. So my rainy day schedule today, I'm just sitting back here thinking about this upcoming winter season, you know, and getting myself prepared to deal with 2020. My 2020 plans are to forget this nightmare that has I want to completely forget it. I don't know, that's unrealistic, but I want to get into a schedule that allows me to have enough to do to where I come home and the only thing I'm really focused on is preparing my dinner and going to bed. That's it. You know, I know that I have offended the sensibility of my previous perps. I'm referring to my ex-family, all because of something that I had nothing to do with. You know, I will say that what they're bullying, they're bullying. I remember when I was younger how much I hated being around them. And I never realized it, but I'm starting to realize it now. It's like, you know, this whole situation is very deep. You know what I mean? Because when I think about childhood and all the times that I enjoyed, and the very fact that I only enjoyed the times where I'm like in the garden or whatever, I realize all this stuff means something. You know what I mean? I never really sat there and thought about it or confronted the issue or realized it or verbalized it, but my actions show that in my subconsciously, I must have always known that these people were not people that I wanted to be around. Okay? But it wasn't something that I literally thought about. Like, on my day-to-day life, like, you know, getting up, going to work, coming home, going to the movies, going shopping. My day-to-day life as a young adult, like my late teens, my 20s, even going into my 30s, I didn't think about it in that way. I just figured, I knew I got kind of like sick when I knew everybody was going to be together. I didn't really look forward to it. It was just one of those things. But the reason why is because this is obviously something very common for people who've been scapegoated. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to believe or accept or even acknowledge the fact that people could treat them in this manner. So they always make excuses like, oh, we were just kids, we were this, we were this, whatever. It's not, okay? Because everyone that I was around when I was younger was trying to tell me this. You know what I mean? And now it makes sense to me. It's like they saw it. And I remember a family that scapegoated one of their children. And I remember noticing it. But it was going on with me and I didn't notice it. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at things differently, you know? And some people, when they realize the abuse, some people go into like a dark depression, which believe me, I'm in a very sad point in my life. I'm depressed about it. But I'm not, there are some people who are just, you know, they don't even get up in the morning. You know what I mean? It can really wipe a person out. On top of, but see, in me, on top of all of their bullshit from my past, they want to bring this shit to the present moment. It's like, you know, I don't want it, you know, and so 2020 is something that, you know, my main goal right now is to move away from that. My future plans, personal plans, you know, I would like to develop more personal plans. I don't know what to do because for the last 2 years, all my things have been like just going to work, coming home, and thinking that, you know, my work would continually move me into different levels of evolution to maybe something else, you know? I don't know. I mean, now everything has completely changed and I don't know. But first things first, the best thing for me to do is remove myself from environments and situations that were created by my family. Now, some people, I do believe that I was trafficked into this apartment. I will deal with that whenever, okay? I try to forget that part because, you know, it's my decorations in here. I can shut out the outside world, okay? But still, my apartment doesn't affect me that much, except for when I was dealing with the same time entry and exit type stuff. You know, so I deal with my apartment, okay? I like my apartment, really. It's okay. You know what I mean? I do think that it could be in better shape. You know what I mean? But I'm a renter, you know, I know to shut up and just deal with stuff. Deal with stuff, you know, and if it becomes unbearable, then, you know, you make that phone call to the landlord and you hope that, you know, they get things done as soon as possible. But I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? But everything else, you know, is better for me to do that. So that's it, really. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, you know, I would say that people might be unnerved by my activism, thinking that I'm trying to introduce new concepts. My personal beliefs are my personal beliefs, okay? But when this issue relating to the gang stalking, relating to the community harassment that I had experienced in the past, as well as the workplace mobbings and stuff, this is not, I would think of an activist, well, no. I would think like maybe somebody who's like being a revolutionary or whatever. They are basically trying to push forth ideas that are new, you know, on a social level so that people can accept their way of living or their way of looking at things. What I'm trying to do in this situation is, I believe, because these things are written into the legal system, that I'm saying that these are the way, in this particular issue, okay, and because I was dragged into something against my will and pretty much against my knowledge, okay, and I have to stand up for myself, otherwise by being silent on the issue could literally kill a person, okay? So I'm basically saying what's going on with me is illegal. What's going on with me is not supposed to happen, okay? So there can't be any argument as to me trying to change the system to fit into my comfortable little world. The laws support this. What happened to me was I was brought into something that I should not have been brought into. And so by me talking and speaking out about it, I'm bringing awareness. I was bringing awareness. Like today, I'm done with talking about, you know, gang stalking, human trafficking, these issues, okay? And the only reason, if I do bring it up in the future, it's only so that I can help other people who are experiencing this know what's happening to them. Okay, they should know and understand once that you go through this and you experience this, that you need to take cover and you need to take refuge within your own self, because you're not going to be able to rely on the people on the outside. So be prepared, be vigilant, and understand what's going on around you. Take cover, okay, and do what you can do to kind of lessen the blow of what's going to happen to you, because many people are unaware that these programs exist. They might see them and they even participate in them, but they don't realize what it is that it's illegal and the effects that it causes on the target. Now, I know that when you're dealing with a bullying situation, they know full well that they're trying to hurt and destroy a person. That's not any surprise to them, okay? But it's a misuse of authority, because some people think, like I gave the example of this woman who was a manager who enjoyed giving her subordinates jobs that were demeaning and demoralizing. Not because she felt as though they were good for these particular jobs. She just literally got off on exerting that sort of negative control, right? And she would say a lot of inappropriate things, that should not be said. And what I'm talking about is discriminatory things that are directed towards a person that they can't help and they can't change. Okay, so it shouldn't affect their job. But she was one of these people. She was very narcissistic, which a lot of people get into these positions. They just do, okay? So what ended up happening to her, she got terminated. People finally caught on to the abuse and the that was going on within that organization. So she ended up having to leave her job, okay? People can get tyrannical in the workplace. And that's one of the biggest issues that people face today. There's so much talk about this now, because there's far more targeted individuals now than ever, okay? And I know these sort of dirty tricks have always worked in communities and whatever, like many years ago, for example, I'm sure without the internet, okay, if there was somebody who was in this town that somebody maybe felt suspicious of, they didn't quite understand this person, they would get on the phone and make phone calls and whatever, and start saying, well, I don't know about this person, don't trust this person, don't hire them, whatever. Okay? But it would still take a little bit of time before that message to get through. Now, you can actually bully a person in a far more expedient manner with the use of the internet and all these other, technical devices that we have. Okay? So it's about really being aware and just letting you know that this is what's happening. Because a lot of people don't even know that it could. Like, I always thought, because I understand the law, and I realize the importance of it, and had respect for it, I really do like employment law. Because employment law, or just laws in general, are what's supposed to be what is supposed to govern, businesses. I'm gonna come back with part 2.